guys. So I'm coming out. I've expressed this, but definitely going to get more into conversation with this as we move it along, right? I'm actually developing the program now, or the project, I should say. I was more so inspired by the self-esteem project that I was going more so into, but it got a little deeper, or a lot deeper actually. So it's more so going into the healed aspect of self, right? So it's like going beyond the healing point, the ing point of healing, and going into the healed part, right? So instead of having to go back into different traumas and experiences just to feel worthy, just to feel like you have some kind of identity, it's kind of like these things are like points like on a blueprint or a program that consciousness or people's consciousness is so used to going to, because there's like a drawing factor, there's like a magnetic pull back into the experiences that you had already and that you already healed from, right? So we already healed from what we think we have not healed from. So therefore, there's an addiction that is formed called healing and needing to fix something, right? So having to fix something. What do I need to fix? What's wrong with me now? So that I can feel like I have some purpose. And then the thing is, when you go into fixing yourself and then you wear, however long that journey lasts, you get to a point where you're good, right? You've fixed the issue, you've accepted, you've embraced, you've healed. And it's very rare that people actually, in their awareness, allow themselves to enjoy the latter half of that journey and actually rest and sit and play and create in a space that they work so hard for, called the healed space, where you are truly in your awareness, being able to like navigate through your life with clearance, right? In that way of just creating instead of reacting. So yes, we're going to come more so into pain points. We may create some things that create some pain as much as it creates pleasure. That's the thing that's always going to happen, the ups and downs, the harmony of life. But when you have a certain level of awareness in knowing that you don't have to go on repeat all the time, there's a different way that you experience your pain and your pleasures and the in-betweens of that, right? So there's just a higher level of awareness in that, and a more groundedness in that, a more level of true rooting and self-acceptance in that. So this is what Healed, or the Healed Project or the series, is more so about. It's about going more so into that thriving space, because a lot of us have been so stuck in taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back and 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. And what does that feel like? It feels like movement. It feels like healing. And that shit is not healing. Going this way and then going this way and then going that way and then going this way again, that is not healing. That's fixing. And what is fixing? It's like a drug. And that's not if you're going to be addicted to something, it's just like, damn, like, what am I getting out of this? I'm getting nothing but an ID that tells me this is all that I am. So no, right? So it's really about going beyond the healing, the ing, the constant maintaining and having to maintain the same pain and experiences over and over again. So getting to that expansion point. So another thing about this is, though, it's really about going into your inner solar system. And this would be the first level of the series, right? You have to adjust, or at least I suggest you adjust your solar system on the inside, because we all have we are all walking universes in our own right, and we share a collective space that we're all contributing to energetically. So we have that external soul or sun that we're receiving power from, but all it is really a feedback of our own power that we're emanating. So it works that way. So it's not like this enigma or this thing that is separated from us. It's our energy working for us and us working with it. So the thing about that is, what do you see? Or when you think of a sun, you think of power, right? You think of warmth, you think of life. The thing about the sun is it's also a focal point. It's a center of something. It's a center. So there's a orbiting of other planetary systems, or what we would call other energies or archetypes that are revolving around that focal point. So all you need to do is go into your inner sun and adjust the focal point. What have you been focusing on for all this time, for the majority of this time, with your awareness or in your unawareness, that has eventually become your center point, eventually becoming your sun? And all light ain't good light, or I should say all light is not necessarily powerful or empowering. Okay, there is light that can be very disempowering, and that's what I would call false light, right? You know, the term for it. But that false light just means that it brings you down. Actually, it's putting on a different type of puppet show, but it's still light. It's still a sun. So what is this sun really? You know, what is this you know, the virus, you know, we talk about that, the corona, the consciousness. What is this sun emanating? That's why I made a post on a while ago. I said, on my planet, the sun is not a disease. On my planet, the sun is not a disease. Okay? So why are people bugging out with the sun? It's because I've realized that people are not checking in with their inner suns. So here's the thing. The word sun, S-U-N, when it's backwards, it is N-U-S. What does that spell? It spells noose, like a noose. And I'm taking this daggone necklace off, although it is freaking amazing, right? But this is for just this context, all right? The noose. What is a noose? You hang someone with a noose. That is the consciousness, the awareness within itself. When you noose somebody, you're choking them up. You're choking them up out of all of their power. And this seems to be the month where people are revisiting these experiences that did indeed happen externally, showed in 3D. But this shit happens on an etherical level, on an astral level, a metaphysical level, on all levels. There are people just being noosed up. Now, it is you and your awareness that can turn noose back into sun by empowering yourself, by creating a self-sustained system on the inside, by simply changing your focus. What have you been revolving your all into, like around, I should say? What has your life been revolved around? Right? So that sun is emanating only what you are creating. What the sun or the light is the focus. And nothing more, nothing less. It's the focus. So if your life revolves around something or someone even, you're turning that person into your sun, or you're turning that thing or that job into your sun. Do you understand how powerful, how much power you give a circumstance, an experience, or another fucking human being? Right? So where does that focus go? You have to turn noose into sun. And you have to say, this is what my sun is emanating, because it is an empowerment factor. So you can use examples in your life, even people that you love, right? Because that can be your inspiration and focus, but making sure that their placement and the energy within your inner solar system is in a position to where it is empowering. Do you feel empowered when you think about that person? Do you feel empowered when you go into that business or when you do your work? Do you feel empowered? That is the question, and that's the question that you have to ask yourself. Okay, so it's changing that noose into sun. And on top of that, even when you look into soul, S-O-L, backwards, it is loss. So here we go again, something that refers to something that should be empowering up, or something that is of power. When it's inverted or distorted, it's loss, right? And there's a whole other system that is connected to that. That would be the lunar system. That would be the positioning that even the darkness, right, within itself, how that is positioned, even with supporting the light or the sun, right? But see, there are these essences who are aware of this. They take advantage of naturally lunar or darker beings, I should say. Just beings who love the dark. And I'm one of those beings. Like I am comfortable in the darkness. I see the beauty in the unseen and the all felt. Like I'm a resonance person. And I can appreciate focus and I can appreciate the light, sure. But I'm a resonance person. I can feel and create something and create beauty and create power through that. So that's just like a being that I am. So people who are like, knowing that, usually beings like me are super supportive of like the focus, and that is a subconscious realm. So if my consciousness has been focused on something that is toxic, my subconscious is going to automatically support that. Why? Because the subconscious is all unconditional, all loving, all accepting. All right. That is the more feminine aspect of self. So it's all accepting. So it's not going to judge anything that the focal point like resonates as. It's just going to follow through with the command of that resonance, no matter what, because when you are everything and you hold everything, and that's what the darkness does. When you hold everything, why would you be prejudiced against anything? That doesn't even make any sense to an all-knowing aspect of the self that doesn't separate or compartmentalize or create hierarchies within its own realm. It just doesn't do that. But the light does. The light creates the hierarchies, the categories, and all of that. And we need them to work together in harmony in order to have a true fucking powerful human experience. But people are walking around with nooses and losses, and their lights are covered up, and they're just allowing another light to power them up, to disempower. So there's a disempowerment, there's a consumption. So when there's a light that consumes you, which sounds like the negative aspect of fire, right? But when there's a light that consumes you, there's a consumption, which means that something is getting fed. Something is getting fed. So if you're tired of being fed on, sustain your own or maintain your own self-sustained solar system within you. Therefore, literally, your subconscious now has a brand new sun and has new command from a new empowering focal point. Therefore, your fucking world changes. That's the power that we have. That's the shit that they don't want y'all to fucking know. Some of y'all know, some of y'all, whatever. But this is like a thing, though, that you have to do. This is not something that you wrap it up and you say, here's your soul, here's your sun. No, you have to recognize this within you, and it does take work. It's not just an automatic. It's just like, okay, damn, so where do I start? Where do I begin? How do I go from healing to being healed and truly empowering myself always, no matter what? And that is the journey. Don't let them sell you on healing all of the time. If I'm going to put out a project, a program, or something, it is going to help people become self-sustained, right? So you don't need to keep coming back. You just know who you are now, and you can create from this point forward. That's the new paradigm, self-sustained, self-maintained solar system. Whatever this false fake shit is, this false sun that is like giving people fucking viruses and shit, because it's literally the opposite. Like it's an inverted, it's the fucking noose. It's a loss. When your natural desire, you want to win, you want to gain, you want to share, you want to give, you want to receive. And on top of that, you want to constantly empower. You want to not only survive, but you want to thrive. Right? That's what I want. So if that's what I want, that's how I need to feel. Because it is about feeling. The soul responds to the feeling because that's the true belief system. So it's a constant, it has to be a constant thing. So focus takes, quote unquote, time. It puts you in that time paradigm. But what you focus on consistently grows a new sun. It replaces the other one that was noosed or lost, going backwards instead of moving forward. So you want an all-encompassing sun that goes in all directions, that is coming more so into a way of not consuming you, but actually feeding you and sustaining itself, as I said before. So that's that. I just wanted to share this because it's really like, it's important. It's important work. And I think it's not to like put down like a lot of what the community has out there, because that works too. But a lot of it is set up for you to keep coming back, like to keep coming back, to thinking that there's something wrong with you, to thinking that you're broken, to thinking that you have to constantly go back in the fucking past and fix things, right? So you can do that when you're ready to like get to a certain point of saying, well, I'm tired of identifying with this though. Like, how many times am I going to revisit? You know, I talked about daddy issues, mommy issues, and all of that. I realized, you know what? I am actually good with that, because I've seen like what I've needed to see. I felt what I needed to feel. And that's the work that no one can give to you. You have to be able to really get through the points and processes of accepting and remembering, and using that power to rearrange and recreate. Destroy what needs to be destroyed, replace it with something that actually works. And that's what this is really about. So this is the work that I'm really passionate about. It started out as a self-esteem, but to me, this is self-esteem like times 1,000, because we're talking about self-esteem, the solar. So that's the solar plexus anyway, right? That's where the self and the steam from that fire and water comes from. So what are we really using that for? And are we making sure that we are filling our own cups, our own systems? And that's real independence for self. So I just wanted to put this out there. There was just some things that I was coming into and remembering, and I was just like, oh, I see what this is. I see what this whole system is. It's cool. Like, we're just at a point in a cycle where there needs to be a cleansing and a switching and all of this and all of that, which is cool. Like, the system is what it is. But at the same time, when you come into your own, they can't touch you. Once you know that, oh, I have this power to do this within myself. I don't have to receive the programming and the identities that they're constantly handing me, these bullshit ass scripts through their fucking sun. And when I say they are there, I'm talking about like the light show, the light masters, the fucking inverted Luciferians. That's who I'm talking about, because there is a conglomerate of motherfuckers out there. Okay? So just like what we saw in Plato's Cave and all of that, the prism, the focal point, the show, and all of that, of course there's something. If you're not controlling or having that authority over your own way of seeing, navigating through, and recognizing the illusion that you're creating, then something or someone else is creating it for you. Trust and believe that. So with that being said, you know, you can sign up for the email list, and when it's all done, you know, you'll definitely get the information, and we'll just get started on that, because it's time to really truly shift with the paradigm and not just follow the flow of the cycle that is working in opposition in a disempowering way, because that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It hasn't worked. It's only worked for those who actually feed off of the system, actually. So, you know, they're just going to have to find other ways to get their power by maybe possibly empowering themselves and minding their own fucking business. All right, guys. I'll see you later.